Yo, what is going on, guys? How is everyone doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Let's move the mic out of the way of my mouth. Now, today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'll be double uploading today, so hopefully you guys are all fine with that. Now, what I'm going to be teaching you is some sort of basics on how to do an intro. Obviously, if you don't know, I have made intros in the past and I still do make them now and then. But I'm going to be teaching like the basics of how to make an intro, as it was requested by a good friend called Kieran. So we'll just jump right into it. Now, when you first come to Cinema 4D, you'll see obviously this is your main screen, and this is how it'll hopefully look. If not, then just change your layouts. You can play about with your layouts and put them into any style you want. I just leave it on style because it's the easiest one and I'm used to it. But yeah, once you're happy with how it looks anyway, just go into your render settings. And when you go into your render settings, what I tend to do normally is put all my stuff into 720p 60 fps. That's how I've always done my intros, and you can always put them into your own style if you want. And it's all like the thing with intro, guys, is it's all personal preference. You decide what you want to do it in. You can either do it in 1080p 60 fps 4K resolution if you really want to, but just make sure when you're doing it, make sure you select all frames to do it. And then when I'm saving things, we'll just put it into a folder. I think I should have one on my desktop. Nope, apparently I don't. Let's create one just right quick called test. There we go. Open, and then we'll save it there, just like that. That's simple. Now I'm going to be saving in PNG format because when I'm rendering out in pictures, obviously it comes out with no background at all. So that means I can fiddle around with the background, add a new background, and also add more effects a lot easier. It makes everything a lot easier for me when I'm in my other software editing. And just make sure you have alpha channel ticked and straight alpha channel ticked. I don't know what 8-bit differing or including sound. Obviously I know what include sound is, but I've not got any sound in, so it means nothing to me. Then when we go to anti-aliasing, we want to put that to best. Normally I'll put mine about 4.4 and 8.8. Like I say, these things are all personal preference, because the higher you go with these, the longer time your render process will be. And if you've got a good PC, it'll be fine. And if you haven't, then good luck to that one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some effects, ambient occlusion and global illumination. In global illumination, guys, we want to be changing the GI mode to a camera animation, as it's not just going to be one still image that stays still, obviously. Then that's everything, I believe, for the settings. And then what you're going to do is just leave that there. Now, once you've got all your render settings set up, you can actually start playing around with what you're wanting to do. So I'm just going to add a text and I'm going to name it tutorial. Oh, tutorials, no, tutorial. So that's what that is. And now we've got a text, we want to just sort of center it a bit for now. I'm going to use a camera. You don't have to do this, I just use a camera so I can get the point in the middle, and then I can move my camera so I can look at it from the front. It's just so I know how my text is looking at all times at front of the front numbers. I'm really bad at doing tutorials. If you've not already guessed, I don't do tutorials much. It's not my style of thing. Even though I know how to do certain things, I just can't get the words out to actually say it. But what we're going to do is, obviously here you can change the depth. Normally I play around with about 60 to 80s, and that's how I've always done it. You can put it higher if you want. You can put it like that if you really must. Depends how you want it to look. And I'm just going to set it back to 60. There we go. Actually, we'll pull up a bit more. There we go. And I'm going to choose a good font. Now, obviously, as you can see, I've got a lot of fonts, but so you can play around, see what looks best for your intro and what you're making. But I'm going to use a simple one that a good friend told me about, which is called Futura. If I can find it, A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E, F, A, F, E, F, E, F, E, F, G, E, F, G, E, F, G. I'm really bad with letters and numbers. Futura, there you are. Found it. Phone, shut up. I should have had you on mute. There we go. Now, obviously, once we've done that, we've got his text ready to play around with. And when I'm doing it, I'm just going to add a couple of colours in, just because I'm not going to add material packs in. We'll make it red, and then the other one we shall make white, just pure white. And I always uncheck specular because I can't do with little white splatters on the colours. Now, when I'm doing this, you can do this in many different ways. When you're adding, say if you want to have two colours on the text, one around the outside, one on the front, you can do this in two different ways. I'll show you both ways right now. So if we want to add, let's say, red to the front of this, we want to add both colours to it. And then on the red one, I believe, if we just type into the selection box down here after selecting the colour on the text, if we just type capital C and then 1, I believe that should have done it. Doesn't look like it did it right well. Let's try that again. So we want to add red. No, why is it adding both? I don't want to add both. Bugger you. Add red, and then add white, and then here we want to do capital C and 1. Let's try that again. Did it work this time? Are you gonna work for me? There we go. It's because I had the colours placed the wrong way around, and I need to add a light in studio. So for my light in studio, guys, I'm just going to use one that I already have. So if we go to my desktop and then go into edit packs, Cinema 4D, Lightrooms, I have a light pack that I got offline. If what I'll do for you guys is obviously I'll put it down in the description below so you guys can check it out as well and also mess around with it. Let's have a look. What do we want to mess around with? Yeah, we'll just add a fluorescent tubes because why not? No, don't like fluorescent tubes. P off. Don't want them. Let's have that one. And then obviously once we render that out, just so you guys can see, we then have red on the front and also white around the edges. That's one way you can do the colours if that's how you want to do it. I personally don't like it, and obviously if you want on the text you can add cap and fillet. Oh, fillet cap. Bloody hell. Need to add that. And just let's say 3 for that. It always depends on how big your text is as well, guys. Don't just think because you normally play around with 3 it's always going to be like that. It's not always going to be like that. You have to play around a bit with it every time you do it. But as you can see, once I've done that, you get a nice clean look on it. That's obviously we're using the the global illumination, and also the anti-aliasing and the ambient occlusion. It creates a good effect on the text, such as all these shadows and what have you. So once you've played around, now I'll show you the other way I do text. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this down, and I'll just add red to this one, and we'll add red to, yeah, we'll add red to this one and white to this one here. Then on this one we want to change this to fillet and this one to fillet as well, and you'll play around with it. Like if I come off my camera now for a second, I need to turn this back onto none. Oh god, I'm gonna have to recreate my text. You're going to annoy me. Actually no, I can just put it to fillet cap, just put it down to 0, and then put that down to 0 as well. There we go. But as you can see, if we look here, we've got this weird gap type thing. What I do with this is I just grab the white bit, drag it back a little bit so it's in line with that. So if I just keep moving, I think it's that way. Yep, there we go. So now that's in line. Then I'm gonna go to the back when I can get out of this place. Where the hell am I? Here. Hello. What's this? Am I in some lights? I don't want to be in some lights. This is poop. Oh my god, where am I? Oh, there we go. So as you can see from the back end as well, you can see that the text still drags out a bit. So all we're going to do here is go to the text object and then change the depth down a little bit until you get it about right. And that's how I do my text. It's just how I like it. Don't ask me why. I'll probably start using it the other way. But you can, like I say, you can do it both ways depending on how you want to do it. And then all you're going to do from there is, once you've got this all set up and you're ready and whatever, you got your light in, then obviously this is where you're going to need to start doing the animation parts. And what I do for my animation is I don't use the camera, I don't move the camera a lot. The only time I use my camera is when zooming in and out from things. But what all you're going to do is you're going to go to this little squiggly thing up here, and you want to hold onto that and select the circle tool. And with the circle you want to just put that into the center. Now if you use this little button here and just click that, you'll bring it to these 4 modes, so you can just easily set it into middles of each area. And I'd say about there is about right. And for me, just because I'm gonna be doing this a bit quicker than I usually would and spending a little more time, a little bit less time on it, that's where I want to put it. And then all you're gonna do is grab your camera. If you don't know how to put a camera in, just click this little camera button here once, and then drag this onto the circle. And if you want to set your camera to center, just use your rotate and set all these to 0, and just play around with this one here and this one here, the zoom in and out and the move button. That's all you need to do. So then once you've got this, you've got your circle and you've got your camera. If we want to, let's say we go around let's move the circle rotation tool and move it around here. I want to zoom in on the back end of this circle here. So let's do that. So we want to keyframe the camera there, then we want to keyframe the circle there. Move forward, I'd say however many frames. You can play around with this, as obviously you can move keyframes. If you don't know how to keyframe, it's just this little key button here. If you've not learned that by now, learn. It takes a while to learn and get into intros as well, guys. I've been doing it about a year now, so depends. And this tutorial is probably going to be about 15 minutes, so I do apologise for you guys. Obviously, you can just skip through. Should have mentioned that at the beginning. But all you're going to do is circle then is obviously once you've moved to another location, you want to then rotate the circle back round. Once I zoom out with this camera, bloody hell. Circle. And then we want to keyframe the circle, and then we want to zoom out with this keyframe, and then we're going to just play around with this, do this thing right quick, and then zoom out a bit more, grab the circle because I need to keyframe. I really remember to always keyframe before you start playing with other things. So like if you move your circle, keyframe it. If you then move your camera, keyframe it. Don't do both and then try keyframing both, because it just doesn't work. Unless you actually, it will work if you highlight them. I'm just stupid. Forget that last thing I told you. But as you can see now, once we play that back, we've got a nice spin out of there. And obviously you just keep playing around with the circle if you want it to keep moving around. And that's all you do for sort of rotations on it. Never move the text, because I don't know, you can move text, especially if you do it the other way with the colours. That works fine. If you do it this way with the colours, it all starts looking weird. Just don't try that. But since I learned that new way, I'm probably going to start using that new way. The new way, other way, seems a lot easier. Now, the only problem with doing the text this way, guys, as I've just found, is the back doesn't go to the same colour. There's probably a way to do it. I've not figured that out yet. So, guys, that will be the tutorial for today. If you want to learn anything else, such as another style of intro you can do, obviously, if you want to add a bit more pizzazz to this, you can make your text bounces and stuff like that. And if you don't know how to do that, I'll show you really quickly right now. All you want to do is all you want to do is highlight your things, right click, make editable, and then within these you'll see that we have the text boxes here. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the other one for now, just to show you on one. Obviously you'll do this with both pieces, but if you want to just keyframe one of the texts at the beginning, go 12 frames ahead, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Keyframe again, then go 6 frames back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what you want to do with that is you want to click this move tool thing, move it up, dependent. You can normally move it up about 30 to 40 centimeters. Just don't make it really high and really low, or really low, as it just doesn't work and you don't get the right effect. And then just keyframe that there. Now, if you want to obviously to carry on the process to make it all look smooth, all you want to do from the middle of the T or whatever first letter is, if you just go 1, 2, 3 frames in, and then to start off your next letter, that's where you want to start it, 3 frames in from the middle point of the other letter you've done, and then kind of do the same as you did for the T, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Keyframe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then move it up. Make sure when you move it up, guys, you're moving it up the same as you did for the tutorial, which I believe, as you did for the T, or the first letter, should I say. And I believe mine were about 36 centimeters, so I'll just put it up to there just because I'm rushing through it a bit more for you guys and obviously for the tutorial purposes. But as you can see, as I've done in this, we've got a spin, bounce, bounce, and then obviously you do that for each letter as much as you want. You can make these faster if you really like. Just make sure whenever you start the next one, make sure make sure when you do the next letter, make sure it starts halfway between the middle frame and the last frame of the letter before it, if that makes any sense, as I've just shown you. But yeah, guys, that will be everything for today's tutorial. If you'd like to learn a bit more on intros or more in depth on something else, or just anything really within Cinema 4D, and then I'll obviously look at it, give you another tutorial on it. Hopefully this does help you a little bit with how to move your camera animation a bit easier, make everything look a bit smoother and a lot cleaner. But obviously with the settings, once you start rendering it out, I'm gonna have to do mine really quickly. As if we just take off, I'm just gonna take off these just for the purposes of it, guys, like that. And then if we just take out that, and then just, no, that's not what I wanted. And obviously, as you can see, when it starts rendering out with just the 1 frame, yes, we will stop, and then we go to here, look. As you can see, we have the picture, and obviously this folder will just be filled with pictures. Then you'd put it into your editing software such as Sony Vegas or After Effects, and that is where you'd add all your effects and what have you. But yeah guys, obviously as I said, I'll put the lighting studio that I have into the description below. It's opened a bit different because it's a lib file. All you're going to do is go to content browser, go through all your files, just go to wherever you've put the file, open it up. Sometimes it'll open up weird, you'll figure a way around it, I did. But hopefully this does help you guys, like I did mention. And hopefully you make some cool doody intros from it. If you do make something cool from something you've learned from a tutorial, guys, be sure to let me know. Be sure to tweet it at me or something like that, and I'll check it out. But yeah guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you in the next video guys. Peace.
Strap on.